Free your mind now. Be part of People's Pan-African Parliament, the Pan-African Pyramid Debate with your speaker, Andrew Irumba Katusabe.
The Pan-African Pyramid Weekly Roundup with your speaker, Andrew Irumba Katusabe, and my comrade, Thomas Sahrawi. Thomas Sahrawi is a French journalist and researcher, and is also a recipient of the Pan-African Pyramid Global Awards, the class of 2024. Sahrawi, I'm glad to meet you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here once again.
Thank you. Sahrawi, I'm flying to Ouagadougou. Huh? You know what I'm going to do?
You will tell me.
Comrade Thomas Sankara left an incarnate called Ibrahim Traore.
Yes.
Exactly what Sankara wanted to do for Burkina is what Traore is doing.
Yes.
And so, you know your people, your people there, they have already started finding ways of undermining him.
Definitely.
So my going there is I have mobilized a group of Pan-Africans across the world.
Yes.
From Africa and diaspora. I am the coordinator. I'm taking them to Traore, first of all to show our solidarity, to also show our support. And one of the activities I'm going to do is to conduct an awarding ceremony. I'm going to award him as a revolutionary leader and officially recruit him into our Pan-African Pyramid organization. So he's going to become our member.
Hey, you must be exciting about reaching Ouagadougou, eh? You must be exciting about reaching
Ouagadougou. It's my maiden flight to Ouagadougou.
No, Captain Traore, as you said, is the direct descent of Thomas Sankara.
Yes.
He even says it in all of his interviews. You can't, all the time you will hear it, whatever, in French, in English, he will quote Thomas Sankara. Yes. He keep quoting Sankara. And he said we have learned about Sankara mistakes. Remember, Sankara got assassinated by his best friend, Blaise Compaoré. But he said he's not going to be the fool that repeats his mistake twice. So we want to see what this young leader is doing. But what we know is what you're going to tell him. All Africa is looking at him.
You know,
all Africa.
Found the GDP of Burkina Faso at 18.8 billion. In just 2 years, the GDP now is at 22.1 billion. In 2 years. He has rejected International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank. He said, Africa doesn't need the World Bank, IMF, Europe, or America. No, we don't need you. He has reduced salaries of ministers and parliamentarians by 30%, and instead increased the salaries of civil servants by 50%. So here in Uganda, the salaries of ministers and the members of parliament, especially these members of parliament here,
gigantic.
Their salaries are in the sky.
Yes.
But those of the civil servants, like a police officer,
yes, really small, very
So,
small.
Traore has done the opposite. Little money, more money. To the teacher, to the police officer, to that government worker at the sub-county and the county, those people. But Burkina Faso's Traore has also paid off the local debts. There were debts, like here in Uganda, we have international debts and local debts.
Yes.
You know, government borrows from its own citizens here.
Yes.
From the NSSF, from...
Yes.
Traore has paid all those local debts. Number 5, he has established 2 tomato processing plants. The first ever in Burkina Faso. The first ever tomato processing plant. In 2023, he inaugurated a state-of-the-art gold mine to enhance local processing capabilities. Just like President 7 here is saying, we should not export unprocessed gold and finished product, what they call raw materials. For him, he's not speaking it. No, he has stopped the export of raw material. And he has started building the company, the factory, process gold.
Very important move.
He's not talking,
Very
he's acting, he's walking the talk. He stopped the export of unrefined Burkina Faso gold to Europe. He stopped it. He's put a stop.
Off.
Here we are talking about it. For him, he's walking the talk. He built Burkina Faso's second cotton processing plant. Previously, the country had only one. So he has built another one. He opened the first ever national support center for artisan cotton processing to assist local cotton farmers. He banned the wearing of British legal wigs and gowns in local courts and introduced traditional Burkinabe attire. So these judges, you see all of them almost dying in this attire. These are colonial
yeah, that's
wigs.
one of Uganda. We see the blonde wigs of
Eh.
the judges.
So Burkina Faso, Traore
Yeah, they're done
has
with that.
banned them.
They're done with that.
Yes, that's a leader.
It's a real leadership. And
He
as we said,
prioritized.
he's really young.
He has prioritized. This is point number 11, by the way. He has prioritized agriculture by distributing over 400 tractors, 239 tillers, the tillers, 710 motor pumps, and 714 motorcycles to boost production and support rural stakeholders.
That's for sure.
So for him, instead of giving you hard cash money, no, he's buying tractors, he's buying tillers, he's buying motor pumps. That's Traore. Point number 12. He has provided access to improved seeds and other farm inputs to maximize agricultural input. Point number 13. Tomato production in Burkina Faso increased from 3,115 metric tons. In 2022, it is now 360,000 metric tons in 2024. It was 315,000, now it is 360,000. You get it? Point number 14. Millet production rose from 90,700 metric tons in 2022. Now it is at 1.1 million metric tons. No, this is 907,000. Millet production rose from 907,000 metric tons in 2022, and now it is at 1.1 million metric tons. Rice, point number 15. Rice production increased from 280,000 metric tons in 2022, and now it is currently at 326,000 metric tons in 2024. Point number 16. He banned French military operations in Burkina Faso. Now I'm on you now. He has banned you. He banned French media in Burkina Faso. First, he banned the military bases operations, and now he has banned French media because he knows these French media, is of course promoting the agenda of French in Burkina Faso.
Definitely.
He banned them.
Definitely.
Point number 19. No, number 18. He expelled French troops from Burkina Faso.
You should add like the secret service agent. 4 of them got captured by his regime. It was a really bold move.
Okay, he expelled French troops from Burkina Faso. Point number 19. His government is constructing new roads, widening existing ones and upgrading gravel roads to pave the surfaces. And point number 20, which is the last one, he's building a new airport, the Ouagadougou Donsil Airport, which is expected to be completed in 2025, this year. This year we're going to have a new airport. So these 20 points is the reason I'm traveling tonight to go and award him and officially bring him on board as a member of an African pyramid.
Correct. You are adding an amazing member to that family, and I'm really very proud of being part of the same family. I wish I would go with you, but I think for this mission, it's better you go and you.
Yes, just you and then they come with you. You say, Ruba, you brought me a spy.
There's gonna be a problem now, so it's better we try. But I know you're going to tell him. I know you're going to tell him that all Pan-African eyes are on him, and that he represents a model for the youth. He represents more than just the leader of Burkina Faso. Exactly like Thomas Sankara was more than the leader of Burkina Faso. The radical youth in Africa. So we support Traore leaders as Pan-Africans here. We're really happy that you're sending the recipient of the Pan-African awards. I take my pride from knowing that I have the same award than the men here. And I will definitely look at the reports of such show. You should check on the show next week. We will speak of how it went that side.
Very good. Now, Comrade Sahrawi.
Last week, what happened last week with the Sahrawi?
Sahrawi.
Last week you were invited.
Sahrawi, I was invited to have some lunch with the ambassador, and one of the issues that we discussed was that Morocco invaded Sahrawi. So I am trying as a journalist and as a Pan-African, I did not say much because I don't know the history of Sahrawi and Morocco. How did it come that they invaded them? When I check on the map of Africa, could not see Sahrawi. But he showed me his map where Sahrawi is. But for me, the map that I have, I don't see
We don't see Sahrawi.
I don't see Sahrawi. I see Morocco.
We see Morocco.
So it's something that he told me yesterday, and I have pledged that I will first need to go on ground, study the situation, investigate as an investigative journalist, but also as a Pan-African now, and try to now engage our Pan-African networks for a positive and a brotherly solution. Not an engagement that would escalate, but an engagement that will bring us closer as brothers, more as brothers, so that Sahrawi people and Morocco should start seeing themselves as brothers. And when a brother today is here, and tomorrow you are slept over there, it doesn't surprise you. If I am here today, and tomorrow I am across there, it doesn't surprise you if we are brothers. So that's the kind of mentality I would like to, but I need to first get full information, full history about that conflict. Do you have any? I don't know. I don't have any. So what do you know about that conflict?
When we think of the Sahrawi Republic, the Republic of Sahara, they give them different name. We think of a political party called Polisario. So those men are the Polisario. Those men have called themselves the freedom fighters.
Which ones?
They have called themselves freedom fighters of the Sahrawi, right? But really what has happened is you have a dividing imperialist. So the imperialists were trying to size Africa, right, in 1880, 1870, right? And so when they came to that conference, the Berlin conference, the Spanish king came and claimed that all Morocco was his kingdom. It was not the kingdom of Morocco, it was his own kingdom. Why? Because they have established like forts and castles on all the Moroccan coastline. So when they go to Latin America, when they go to Asia, to Africa, they have like safe roads, right? Safe sea roads. So Spain has always used that corridor to go to the south, to go to Latin America, to go to Africa, right? So when they came in 1880, they came and they claimed this is part of Spain. Spain have part of it, right? Unfortunately, they found that the French also had imperialist agenda on Morocco. So the French were already negotiating with factions of Moroccan powers to size Morocco and to make it a protectorate. Remember, it was a protectorate and not a colony at that time. So the Spanish, they wanted to say no. We want our side. The French said we want our side. So the French and the Spanish ended up fighting each other. And then after a certain time, the French won and said, listen, we are going to make a deal. In 1912, the south of Morocco is going to be a colony for Spain.
1912.
1912, they agreed to say the south of Morocco will be a colony for Spain. The north of Morocco will be the colony of the French, right? So, not a colony, a protectorate of the French. So all 20th century happens, Moroccans are being sent to Second World War, they're fighting for independence of France against the Germans. They're fighting for the independence of Western Europe against Germans' power. They were called the Zouaves. Those were the Moroccan military that were sent to the war, right? Now came the story that independence, 1956, the French decide to give the independence to the protectorate, happening in 1958, because the king of Morocco always have been a powerful king, right? So they decide to give back the independence to the men, to the Moroccan king. It turns out that Spain refused to give the independence at the same time. Spain were ruled by a dictator himself, so the dictator said no. So the south of Morocco is Sahara is a Spanish colony. Now the north of Morocco become independent. As soon as they become independent, they say we are not independent yet because the south is not free. So they fight for the independence of the south against Spain. And it's only in the last week of Franco, the dictator of Spain, dying, that they signed an agreement. In 1975, the Sahrawi Republic got its independence. Immediately after, the Moroccan king, Hassan II, welcomed his new brothers. He organized what was called the Green March. Moroccans walk towards the deserts, thousands and thousands of them, to welcome their brothers within Morocco, right? Now a small group of people that wanted independence from Spain now said that no, this is a new form of imperialism. That Moroccanity is a new form of imperialism. But Moroccans have said, no, you guys are our brothers and sisters. We're speaking of less than 80,000 people. This is less than 80,000 people in the Republic of Sahrawi. Now, few of them decide that they want a referendum. They want to know if they can be autonomous, have their own country, or if they are part of Morocco, which Morocco refused. Who would accept in Uganda today that Karamajong organized a referendum to say that we want to be independent, when we know they are part of Uganda?
So the conflict between Morocco and Sahrawi is like Sahrawi is like Karamoja saying we want to cut off ourselves from Uganda.
Yes.
And we become Karamoja as a country.
As a republic.
As a republic.
As a republic, right?
So that's what is happening with Sahrawi.
That's what is happening currently with Sahrawi. So the king of Morocco have said, no, we are welcoming our brothers. He has developed the province. The province is developed. He has sent a lot of soldiers, a lot of administrators, a lot of people to settle in the south of Morocco. Because the truth is simple. This part of the land, nothing grows. Nothing grows. There's no farming.
Sahrawi.
That side of Morocco, the south of Morocco.
Yeah, okay.
You can have access to the ocean, so you can fish. But inside the land, it's really rude. Outside of having camels and goats, you can't really develop agriculture.
Sahrawi, so part of Morocco.
The Sahrawi people, those that call themselves Sahrawi, they are part of the Sahara. They're not simply part of Morocco. They are Moroccans. They are Algerians. They are from Niger. They are from Burkina Faso. They are from Mali. They are from Libya. They move around. And the people that have settled in that part of Morocco have always been Africans that have moved around. So rather than asking ourselves, is Sahara a republic where nothing can grow, where no farming can be done, we should ask ourselves, let's give the right to the people of the Sahara to move freely between Morocco, Algeria, and Libya, because all of those borders are colonial borders that created that drama. The Sahrawi people were not from Sahara, that is called the Sahara of today. They were from all the Sahara. Now they ended up being in the west side, and the people said, no, now you need to have an ID, you need to have a passport, now you're Spanish, now you're Moroccans. They said they were free African first. They were free African first. Those people exist because of the trade between the Southern empires, which are the Mali Empire, the Shanghai Empire, the Ghana empires, so black empires, and the Northerners Empire, the empires of Moroccan's king, for instance, right? So they always have been in between of the north of Africa and the south of the Sahara, making trade, organizing relationship between the two. So asking for the independence is against the history, pretending that this part of Sahara is an enclave that is different from all the powers that exist around it is a mistake. And us as Pan-African, we can have this historical perspective where we see who were those people, what have they been doing, and who has tried to play, once again, divide and rule. By dividing Morocco, what do you get? This is the fourth biggest power. Morocco is reaching like the similar economic status as Kenya, for instance, right? They are number 4, number 5 in a lot of things. They are really influential into bringing their banks to sub-Saharan Africa. So now the French bank have left with all the French military leavings. The French banks are also left. Société Générale, Caisse d'Épargne, they all decided to leave. And when they leave, who is coming to take charge? Moroccan banks. Because the country don't always takes a bit of time to build all those banks, right? So you need international banks. The Moroccans are there. The Moroccans have a destiny in the south of the Sahara, exactly as much as the Senegalese and the people of the Sahara have rights in north of Africa. Historical rights are bonded for both communities.
Now you have given a different perspective, which is more detailed. Because yesterday I met the ambassador of Sahrawi. He told me what he told me, but I didn't want to really to have a debate with limited information, so I needed to compare notes. That's very good. So I will actually be traveling there. I want to go on ground and see what. So
maybe
now,
we can
tell
ask
me.
the ambassador to invite us there, and we do a show. So for Pan-Africans to know
I'll
what
invite
is
you.
really happening. Is
So
it
now,
dividing?
I wanted you to tell me, if Sahrawi wants to cut off itself from, or to be independent from Morocco, what's the economic activity in Sahrawi that they would depend on? Is there agriculture happening? Is there oil exploration? Is there gold? What is the economy? What are they going to be their source of livelihood?
So there's two, let's say 3 sources of businesses, right? The historical business of the Sahrawi, as we said, is trading. So they would go to Mali, they would go to Timbuktu, to Gao. They will go to the north of Mali, the region that Traore is trying to set free. They will trade. They will buy things from the south of the Sahara, of the Sahel, to sell it to Morocco, Algeria, and those places. So traders, they would be traders. But if they can't travel because they don't have the right passport or the right visas, there's a second source of revenue that exists: phosphate, right? So phosphate is used for agriculture as a fertilizer, right? So there's some mines of phosphate. But remember, it's not because you have a mine that you know how to extract what is there, right? For a mine like phosphate mining, you need international capital. You need, or even capital, just capital. You need money to set up those operations, right? So as we speak, the Sahrawi, do they have the capacity, the engineering capacity to extract phosphate? It is not sure. What we know is that Morocco is extracting phosphate really successfully. It's one of the main exporters of phosphate. A lot of what you see farming in Ethiopia right now, and remember, Ethiopia is even starting to export wine. All what you see in the farming of Ethiopia is coming from Moroccan phosphate. So Morocco is selling fertilizer to the rest of the continent, which I think is a good deal. So phosphate is the first resources is trade. The second resources would be phosphate. And then the third resources, which is really the most important here, but once again, do not concern Sahrawi that much, is the fishing. The fishing are huge. The coastline of Atlantic is full of fish. The African coastline of Atlantic is one of the places in the world where you have the most fish. So European Union, Morocco, Senegal, Russia, China, all of those countries, they try to fish in this land, in this water. So Russia will seek the Sahrawi to have access to the oceans, right? Morocco will seek the Sahrawi to have access to the ocean. The European Union will seek the Sahrawi to have access to the ocean. So they will sign fishing agreements for international fishermen to come and fish, more than they actually will sign agreement for people to fish there. So the Moroccan state have understood this dynamics, and he said any fish that is fished in the Republic of Sahara part, so the source of Morocco, they call it the source of Morocco, we can call it the Sahara, what the Sahrawi say is their part, should be used and put back inside the source of Morocco. So first you fish it in the oceans, you bring it and you transform it, you packed it with ice and everything within the source of Morocco. So you have economic development. You don't only have like people taking the fish out and other people getting rich out of it. So three resources. First one is trade, second one is phosphate, and third one is fishing. What is important is to recognize that the number of population that call themselves Sahrawi, remember they were nomadic people. That numbers is really small because most of those people have now left. They live in Algeria, they live in Libya, they live in Niger, Agadez, because they can move around. Remember, they don't want to be in conflict. So the number of people that call themselves Sahrawi versus the number of people that call themselves Moroccans, the gap is huge. Less than 10% of the population call themselves Sahrawi. 90% of the population is coming from Morocco and have settled in this land since 1975 and the Green March organized by the great King Hassan II.
Okay, very good. Now, let's go to Trump. Donald Trump, what do you see? First of all, I am told that he has invited no African leader. No African leader has been invited for the inauguration. But when he had just taken power, I heard some African leaders taking a sweep at the current leadership of Biden, that now that this one has come, I think we are going to have some kind of relief, especially on the bans and so on. You know, they have banned a number of Ugandans and so on. So some people were having hope in the Trump administration. Secondly, I have seen Biden had blocked TikTok the other day, and last night Trump said, when they take power on Monday, you will be back. So they have started restoring TikTok in America.
Yeah, for 90 days. For 90 days.
So I want to hear what you say about generally the coming in of Trump. What is likely to play?
What is likely to happen is Trump supporting the America. What's likely to happen is
make America great again.
Is Trump trying to make America great
again
in a moment of decline? We do know that U.S. influence in Africa is declining. Whatever we have Trump,
Not only in
Biden,
Africa, in the whole world.
in the whole world, but for what we are interested here,
Africa.
we do know that in Africa, if you ask people if they prefer to deal with China, Russia, or the US, they will tell you China. If you go in the street of Kampala and you ask people where does this project come from, they will tell you they want a t-shirt from Turkey and they want their smartphone from China. They won't tell you that what they want is something from America. The reality is there. We are already living in a time where American influence in Africa is dropping.
It's going down.
Right? The question is, what is Donald Trump interested to do about it? And I do think the answer is quite clear from his first mandate. He does not care. The truth is he does not care. Africa is not even in his map. His map is to make America great again, what. His map is really like registered. He looked at places where he has something to gain. And he do not consider Africa as a place where he has something to gain. He says that China take over Africa. He doesn't really care much. However, what we know is that he will be ruthless. He has announced that he will be ruthless to the countries that decide to follow officially Chinese policy or Russian policies, right? And so here, what we can see is a few countries that might be in troubles. The countries that might be in troubles are the countries that trade with America a great deal, right? So who is trading with America in Africa? South Africa is one of the #1 partner in Africa. Kenya, we know, is trading a lot. Egypt is buying a lot of weapons from the US. Uganda also, we used to have our time where America was important, but now China is the first partner, so we are more safe. So those three countries that export their product to America, that use their land to produce for Americans, we're thinking of white South African farmers, because the truth is most of those farmers that benefit from selling to America are white South Africans. And we're speaking of the big farmers of Kenya that sell like the tea and the coffee overseas. Those guys might suffer because Donald Trump have announced that if they try to de-dollarize, if they try to go with the BRICS, if Nigeria try to play too much with the BRICS, then he will put a tax of 100% on the imports of a Nigerian product within the America. So it is quite clear that Donald Trump is going to play for America, and right now he doesn't really have a proper African agenda. It is true that he's going to probably he won't push any LGBT agenda, he won't push any woke agenda. But thinking that he's going to come here to tell LGBT people or woke people that they should not do this and that, that's not really going to happen. It's not really going to happen. The move in the continent is quite clear. Slowly but surely, most of our resources are consumed by China. Slowly but surely, most of what we consume, what we bring from overseas, is coming out of China. So the question should be, how do we make fair deal with China as a state of the Communist Party state? How do we make fair deal with China? Rather than trying to ask ourselves, how do we make a fair deal with an erratic man like Donald Trump that have said different things?
You're calling him erratic man?
He's erratic. He say different things. But thinking that a solution can come from him, as Pan-African, we know it's not the case. The solution will come from here. The solution are African for African problems. He's not going to make any difference for us.
Trump has no solution for African problems.
He doesn't.
Only that for him, what he wants is what he can get from Africa. What you have in terms
Remember,
of
he called us bullshit countries. And when people were saying that we should get more migrants from Africa, he was saying that he doesn't want more black migrants. He wanted white migrants. He wanted people from Sweden and Norway. So we don't forget, we don't think that Biden is better than Trump or Trump is better than Biden. What we know is America is usually for Americans. And in Africa, in Europe, or in Asia, they follow the agenda of Americans. Here we can partner with anyone that respects what we do and what we produce.
Do you think he can achieve his goal when it comes to fighting the de-dollarization in the world, especially now that he's openly opening a war against Russia and China? Because those are the countries that are championing the de-dollarization, and he's out there spitting fire.
The de-dollarization has an advantage for many countries, even for us. We do everything by the dollars. We don't really respect the yuan. We don't really respect the reals. Yet we have those trading partners that sell us good things for Uganda and that we sell good things as well. The advantage of the dollarization is clear for many countries. Now if Donald Trump put a stand and say that all the time you refuse to use the dollars, we're gonna put economic sanctions. Then obviously people won't go for that solutions because America is still quite heavy, and even if most business people do not really care about American business, what they care about is to be able to travel to America. They need to be able to use dollars. They need to be able to have bank account in America, and it's a big problem if you are an international traders and you have zero access to America as we speak. So it is quite possible that the de-dollarization agenda is going to slow down because Donald Trump is here fighting hard. But the fact that he's fighting it on the very first day of his mandate, even before, the week before he started his mandate officially, he's already fighting it. He's already claiming that, hey, de-dollarization, if it's happened, ABCD will happen. That means he fears it. He fears it. He fears the situation as it is right now because he can see that the BRICS countries are growing faster and faster, and that many countries in the world realize that the influence of America is not so important. Let's say we lose America in Uganda. What do we lose? Okay, we're gonna lose like Meta. So we're losing Facebook, we're losing Instagram. Yeah, well, Facebook is already off here. Instagram, okay, the youth can use, are mainly using TikTok. So what is it that we lose if we lose America? Maybe we lose all the stupid series that the youth are watching that disturb like people's mind on poor camera series. That's what we will miss. The world has already changed. Productions line are in Asia. The world is turning toward Asia. Even American policies are turning towards Asia and are taking less interest into other parts of the world. Us here in Africa, we should also look at this change, and rather than fight it or call it like for America to come back, be part of the change, be part of the solutions, be part of today's chapters of history.
Okay, now, what did you read from Trump not inviting any African leaders on his inauguration? Yet I saw so many African leaders sending congratulatory messages to Trump when he took power, including our very own. What do you read? You know, someone sends you a congratulatory message, you do not first of all respond to that message, but also on your inauguration you don't even invite him. You cut us a call. And then for you know it, when it takes power, you will see a US-Africa summit. They will go.
Yeah, they will go. They will take their pictures. They used to take their pictures with Barack Obama.
Hey.
They like to take the pictures with Barack Obama back in the day. Even if Barack was really high, they would look short. Yeah. But they would be happy to be here.
So listen, tell me.
There's no surprise. There's no surprise about Donald Trump not inviting people.
So it means that he does not actually...
He has said that he doesn't need Africa, he doesn't want Africa. There's no surprise about Donald Trump being selfish, not returning favors. He do not need Africa. That's what he think. That's what he think. So he's going to show the world, and he wants to show his voters. He wants to send a clear message to his voters. Remember, a lot of white supremacists, a lot of people that claim in America that white people are superiors, that slavery was not a bad thing, what they claim. A lot of those guys are here present in the country. They are in the US. They're really happy for Donald Trump to be president. The racists are really happy. The white supremacists are really happy for Donald Trump to be president. So in his inauguration speech, what do you think he wants? Does he want to invite black leaders, or do he want to invite white leaders? He does not want black leadership. He does not want black emancipation. He does not want Pan-Africanism. What he wants is more business for Americans, and especially for the national bourgeoisie. So he's more interested into creating drama with Panama, with Canada, with Greenland, than looking at what's happening in Africa. So the truth is that by having Donald Trump, we should have less American intervention in Africa. We will have a state of America that is less interested into looking at our affairs. But the state of America was already not respectful towards us. We can't think like Biden was more respectful than Trump towards African leaders. When was Biden in Africa? That guys have made 4 years in power. He came in Africa last month. After 4 years. So will Donald Trump do better? Probably not. Probably not even going to show up a single time here. I don't even think he's going to come in Africa, not even once in all his mandates. He didn't do it the first time.
The first time he did not come to Africa.
But the truth is, it's because they already have lost their power. The power that America used to have in this land is shrinking and shrinking to such a small point that now they don't even really have capacity to play like ties and play like friends.
How they used to do.
That they used to do. Such things are in the hands of African leaders and Chinese leaders, or Russian leaders, or Turkish leaders. But America do not have any more a solid agenda, even Biden itself.
So, Comrade Sahrawi, about 109 people have been killed by starving in the Steelfontein mining company in South Africa.
No way.
I really find it inhumane to starve people today. You have been in South Africa. You have lived in South Africa for 2 years.
8 years.
8 years in South Africa. Give us the history of this problem. Even how did you reach here? How did you reach here in South Africa that you can kill 109 people so far, and those are the ones they are able to account
On purpose,
for.
Kill on purpose,
Kill on purpose.
It's proper
By
killing.
starving.
Yeah, by starving them, by closing the mine entirely, so the people are stuck inside until they come out. But when they come out, you arrest them and you deport them. So they decide to starve them. No more water, no more food, no electricity. Everything is cut.
Who has blocked this? Who is doing this?
The man behind all of this is called Boden Mantashe. He's the Minister of Mines, and he used to be a unionist for mine workers. He was one of the best unionists for mine workers. He was the head of the South African Communist Party for a long time. How can we explain that freedom fighters that have settled in Mozambique, settled in Zimbabwe, settled in Malawi, settled in Botswana, settled in Namibia, now they take those migrants and they make them starve in their very own mines? Why is it that that mine is not functioning? There's a mine with gold inside. There's no company that want to come and take that gold because the operation costs too much comparing to the returns, right? So the big capital cannot come to this mine in order to operate the mine. So what happened is Zama, which are artisanal gold miners. Artisanal gold miners exist in Southern Africa since at least 800th century. We are evidence of Southern Africans digging their own gold since more than 800th century, right? However, beginning of 19th century, something changed. White people start to get interested into mining in Southern Africa. So they open mine, left, right, center, in order to make extra money. They start to bring black workers. They used to have white workers, but white workers were asking for better waves. So they bring black workers, they bring Zulus, they bring Mozambican, Shangan, they bring the Bere from Zimbabwe, they bring Tswana people from Botswana, they bring people from all around the region in order to work on their mines that they sent from Cape Town and Kimberley to Zimbabwe. All of that in the end of white monopoly capital. There were 2 to 3 families that used to have control of those gold mines. One is Cecil Rhodes, another one was the Oppenheimers, right? They have like control of those mines. They made huge amount of money. They made so much money that they did not even have to take all the gold from those mines. We're speaking gold, we're speaking diamonds, we're speaking copper, we're speaking all minerals you can think of. Those mines at some point realized, oh, we cannot, those mining company, white engineers that have supported apartheid, realize that they can't make so much money anymore with those mines because they have dig everything. They, rather than closing the mine, they leave. They just leave. And they let any environmental damage, anything like drama. They are supposed, according to South African law, they are supposed to fill it up with water. So no one can go back inside and there's no drama. They didn't do anything. They just set it to a puppet and they say, oh, it's not our mine anymore. We don't have to do the job. So what is happening now? People from all around Southern Africa, artisanal miners, come.
Zama.
Artisanal miners, they come and they dig. They don't need millions. Africans don't need millions and billions of dollars in order to extract their own gold. They know how to do it since a long time, cheaply. But because of colonialism, they have shifted from people getting the gold for themselves to big companies getting the gold to sell them broadly, right? Where no miners get no money from it. No miners get no money from it. South African miners have been mining the biggest gold mine in the world, Irumba. The biggest and the tallest gold mine in the world has been mined by South African black miners since more than 100 years. 120 years to be precise. Those were black miners. Are they rich today? Have you seen any of them like claiming that they are the richest in the world? No. Who is the richest man in the world? Who is the richest man in the world?
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk's father was what? An engineer in a gold mine in South Africa. So that's where the money went. The money went to the white
Hey.
families. The black miners never had nothing.
Wait a minute. The father of Elon Musk was what?
Was an engineer in a gold mine in South Africa. The very same type of gold mines that are now being like, where the South Africans are fighting foreigners inside the mine. The very same mine. Maybe Elon Musk's father was in Steerfontein. We don't know, but he must have passed in the operation. So that's what we're saying. We're saying that the wealth of South Africa was taken away at the time by white people, right? And especially Afrikaners connected to the Oppenheimer's family or the Rhodes families, right? After that white monopoly capital happened, as I explained, they let the mines open. So South Africa has hundreds of mines that are open as we speak. Myself, I went to visit one day. It's really surprising because you have a little door right here. That door is not bigger than this couch I'm sitting in.
Yeah.
You enter like something that has like it's an entire labyrinth. It's an entire Kampala within the mine.
Hey.
You even have shops inside Irumba. You have shops. You can buy your cigarettes. You can buy your little sweets. You can buy chips. You
Inside
even
the
have
mining.
mamas. You even have mamas selling you biscuits
Inside the mining.
inside the mining itself. Because miners stay inside the mine sometimes for 1 week, 10 days, until they have enough to go out
Bro.
and sell the gold that they have
But
found.
the entrance is narrow.
The entrance is very narrow. But
When
what
you
is
enter
inside is the
inside-
entire city.
It's a city.
You have entire city. So I went to visit one day. It is taken by some mafias. You know, that's also the truth. We cannot deny the fact that there is some security inside. So you can't enter as a Zama and just dig. You have to be part of some networks of people that allow you inside, right? So those networks, they also now know how to dig the gold and to sell the gold, right? But also to protect
So
the
those
miners.
networks are under whose control
Under
and
us.
command and control?
They are
No.
Zama control people, like they self-controlled by miners. But those miners, they're often foreigners because South Africans have more job opportunity in the South African markets. But those miners still know how to mine. The new generation of South Africans, they don't do so much mining because minings have been replaced by machines there. But now, in Mozambique, in Lesotho, people still know how to do their own mining. So they go there, they mine. Now the South African state, in 2023, they have realized that there's around 10% of mining capacity that leaves South Africa illegally. Rather than fighting the real networks of people, they start to fight those small Zamazamas. And you know what they did? Now they went to all the province where all the mines are. They went to every mine and they told those guys, you leave or we close down exit. And obviously, if you're a miner, you're feeding your family, yeah? You're not doing something really fancy. All what you're doing is you're gonna get a little bit of gold that you're gonna sell. You're gonna send that money
after
back to
family.
Lesotho or Mozambique in a village just to grow, to pay the fees, the school fees.
Survival.
Most of those people, they came because they got interviewed. The journalists asked him, why did you come to an illegal mine? You know what they said? No one told us it was illegal. We signed legal contract. We thought we were legally involved
Working
in a normal legal mine. They didn't know it was anything illegal, right? So in 2023, the South African state said, whoever come out of this mine, we arrest, we send back. So the miners decide to stay inside, right? So now the South African state said, no. The premium of the province, he said, no, we are closing any exit. And in October, not only they close exit, but they prevent from any food, any water, any electricity to come in. So we're speaking of maybe 5,000, 6,000 people starving inside, starving. What could they do? Nothing. They got stuck inside. Now they got stuck and slowly but surely they die. We even have heard that some people start to eat each other out of cannibalism. Because they couldn't go outside.
Survive.
It was locked. They couldn't go down because it's earth.
Wait a minute. They're eating it themselves.
That is what we have heard.
Cannibalism. To
Iroma,
survive.
did you hear?
Cannibalism for survival.
When they called, they closed the mine. They closed any exit on the mine in October. We are in January last year. October, November, December, January. This is 4 months. No food,
eating,
no eating,
no
nothing.
water, no nothing.
Nothing. It is said that there is still 800 people inside.
800.
800. 109 are dead. But only 36 have been taken out. Let me tell you what happened, because now you might ask yourself, why are the mines suddenly reopened? the left wing politicians, left wing activists, mining activists, small community members, activists, they came to the South African High Court of Justice, and they said, "Is it what we fight for in 1994? Is it legal in South Africa to starve people to death because they done artisanal mining in a mine that is closed? Is it legal to starve people to death, to prevent them from water, from food, on purpose?" And South African High Court have been really clear. Really quickly, it says, no, this is not legal. According to our constitution, according to the constitution that Nelson Mandela signed himself, we cannot do such things. We cannot starve people, especially whatever, locals or foreigners. We cannot starve them in a mine.
So now why is it happening after court has ruled?
So the court has ruled that they have to reopen the mine.
So have they opened?
That's why we know how many people are dead, because now they open the mine so they can excavate the bodies.
The dead one.
No, the dead bodies come out, and we see some of them have been eaten because people were starving. So some of them have been. So all of those bodies come out, and now we have 36 that came out, and the miners that are still inside as we speak. They say there is 109 that are dead. You guys have killed 109 others, which means what? It is the larger massacres of black miners in South Africa since apartheid. We are used to see apartheid killing black miners, so they don't ask for their rights. They have seen apartheid killing black workers, so they don't call for their rights, so they don't call for equality. Now who is doing it? The African National Congress.
ANC.
ANC.
The one of Mandela.
And you know what they do?
The one of Mandela.
Yes. And you know what?
Mandela
How they
was jailed for
justify?
27 years fighting for the
It is
freedom
really
of the
sad.
people.
The freedom of the people was not the freedom of African foreigners in South Africa. Now the Minister of Mines, Gwede Mantashe, which is a man that we can respect in a lot of
An
ways.
African.
by the way. More than an African, a Pan-African, solid Pan-African. He has lived and worked in a lot of African countries. He has said, we are not killing people, we are killing foreigners that steal our economy. They steal our resources. They are robbers that steal us. That's why they are in those situations. And as the police, what we do is the right of South Africans, which is the right to use their own mind. So they said Zama are not supposed to exist, but only those legislation come from apartheid, come from the time where no gold could enrich
Extracted,
a black
yes.
person. Gold was supposed to enrich the white regime and the white
So,
people.
my brother, as Zama South Africans,
They
Are they South
are
African?
Southern Africans.
So?
They're Southern. They're from Mozambique, from Zimbabwe, from Namibia. But remember, the people of Johannesburg, were they South African first? No. Johannesburg was created, there were no South Africa.
Hey.
People came to South Africa from the Zulu land, from the Ndebele land, from all around South Africa. They came to mine because this province, this region have always knew how to be miners. The same way South Africans, like here in Uganda, people know how to be farmers because they've been farming since a long time. And no one is going to come.
they don't need lectures on how to farm.
There's no one that is going to lecture Ugandan on how to farm here. They know how to lecture the world, but no one should come and lecture here. Same story for Southern Africa. Southern Africa have been a place where people mine. For our listeners here and our viewers, you should check Great Zimbabwe. Great Zimbabwe has so
Great?
much gold. Great Zimbabwe. Great Zimbabwe has so much gold that miners, African miners, small-scale miners as they call them today, or
Did you say
artisanal
Great
miners,
Zimbabwe?
Great Zimbabwe had so much gold that the Portuguese came three times.
Mr. Producer,
times
you,
they came.
you dig for me Great Zimbabwe as we...
They came 3 times. 3 times they came to steal the gold of Great Zimbabwe. 3 times they failed. 3 times
Why?
they failed.
Why?
Because the gold that those people have was impossible to catch. Because it's not like large scale building. People have it, they trade with it. They failed because that African kingdom was stronger. He has left the biggest castle in Africa as we speak. Even when you go to Great Zimbabwe, it's surprising. That wall is taller than me, taller than twice me, 3 times me. But there were no machine, no construction. We still don't know too little about Great Zimbabwe. But what we know is that they used to mine gold when it's the dry season. Southern Africa is a dry season. So when the water is here, people farm, they use cattle, they do their thing. When there is no more rain,
Water.
no more water, nothing to farm anymore because the sun is too hot, then they go mining, they go artisanal mining, and they use that gold as an exchange.
Survival.
It's not survival because those people were really rich. They were really rich. It's more like they were divided. In Uganda, people farm 100% of the year. That side they could farm 3 months to 4 months. So the rest of the months they would do mining, right? So getting back to the point, there were miners in all around Southern Africa. So when they found the gold in Johannesburg, Egoli, the Zulu called it Egoli, the place of the gold. When they found the gold, all Southern Africans came
There.
and no one in Johannesburg can claim he's from Joburg. Whatever white, whatever blacks, whatever Zimbabwean,
They came
whatever,
and occupied the place after finding gold there.
Everyone came in this place because of mines and gold, right? So the Zama Zama of today's are just the descendants of those that could be employed by white people to mine for their own interest. But what white colonialism didn't want, what white imperialism didn't want, is for Africans to get rich outside of their minerals, right? So they put a lot of law in
my
place.
brother Lisafri, the people managing the gold mine, in the face you may see black people closing the gate, but in their backs are there white people doing that? They're the white people managing that?
It is the mine that are
So-
the most profitable.
I want to find out who is killing the blacks in the mining.
It is in that case the answer is quite clear. Is the mine lobby. So in South Africa you have mines, right? So now those mines, if they're legal, they orchestrate legally. They pay a little bit of tax, but they're still highly profitable because mine workers are low paid, right? So when you have two mines, one is legal, one is illegal. What you change is who is getting the value of the mine, who is getting the money. In the case of a legal mine, you have few shareholders that take all the values. So suddenly you will have like super rich people. It's gonna be really rich people. The richest black man in South Africa, Mr. Motsipe. Mr. Motsipe is the richest black man in Africa because he has mines. So he has mines, he has platinum mines, he has Anglo mines. So his company is called Rainbow Mining. Rainbow Mining makes a lot of money legally. So when you have so-called illegal miners coming, what really happened is that the very same money, rather than going to 3 or 4 people that have shareholders in the company that operate the mine, the very same money will be shared by thousands of Zamazamas. So now suddenly you have maybe 1,000 people sharing the value of the mine, and that is called illegal. When you have 4 or 5 people sharing the value of other people's work, that is called legal in capitalism. But the truth is that the advantage of artisanal gold mine is that we do not need so much capital, and the miners themselves get more value from their work than when they work for an international company that will just take their profit somewhere in Sydney, Toronto, New York. What we want is for the miners that are artisanal miners to be able to live their life. They're not doing anything wrong. It was companies that refused to operate in this place.
109 people killed. 109 people killed, and Malema, a Pan-African that I know, is quiet. What is Malema doing there?
No, of course Malema is in favor of the miners. Malema have been quite clear about the fact that this is a massacre.
But then I have not heard him
Maybe
talk
there is
with
a lot
passion like he used to do when it was LGBTQ campaign. Yeah, when it was LGBT, he even had to come and put on their flag and even demonstrate and what.
no, I think he's reacting. I think maybe we'll share some of this video maybe on this clip we'll share, but he is definitely on the side of the miners, because for him, remember, there's no foreigners in Africa. So when a Zimbabwean is in South Africa, for him, he's not a Zimbabwean in South Africa. He doesn't need a visa, he doesn't need a passport. He's an African in Africa, right? So when we say that those artisanal miners are foreigners, he says no. What threatened me the most, what hurt me the most, to be honest, what hurt me the most is the Minister of Mine reaction, saying that those were robbers, stealers. Calling artisanal miner a robber when a big white company closed down that mine. Why don't we call the white company the robbers? Because clearly if there's Zama inside, there's still more gold. Why can't the legal company take the gold and employ the normal Zama Zama? Why? Simply because it's not profitable enough. Simply because they will invest 1 million and they will get in return 2 millions. And that 1 million return is not enough. They want 10 millions. So they prefer to go to Botswana, to Kenya, to Uganda, rather than exploiting the little remaining. But that one mine can feed like families. It is the wealth of the African continent. If South African company do not want to take it, good for them, but allow people to come. People that knows how to take it. You see what I mean? It's like what we were talking about Monsanto last time. Monsanto coming here to tell farmers how to farm. Does that make any sense?
Doesn't.
It makes no sense. So if South Africa do not operate its mines, let people operate his mine. Whatever they're from Mozambique or South Africa, doesn't matter so much. What matters is that there is some measure of safety, that there is some there is strong mafia there, that the people operate outside of the traditional ways. But that thing of criminalizing artisanal mining in order to legalize capitalist mining. The capitalist mining is imperialist. He takes the minerals outside of Africa to enrich other people, like Elon Musk's father. Elon Musk can go to school because his father stole the wealth of Africa. He was a gold mine engineer. He stole the wealth of Africa. Now we said that there's a small Zimbabweans that take this amount of gold that he's stealing. Come on. He's stealing nothing.
And on that note, Comrade Sahrawi Thomas from France, thank you so much.
Thank you so
Comrade
much.
Thomas is a freelance, is a journalist attached to Spy Uganda and attached to our research desk at Pan-African Pyramid. He is a recipient of the most prestigious Pan-African Pyramid Global Award, the cohort of 2024, just last year. And we have started already organizing the awards for this year.
Yes.
Comrade Ibrahim Traore is going to be the first recipient of the 2025 class Pan-African Pyramid. My name is Andrew Irumba Katsabe, your speaker. Follow us on social media platforms, Pan-African Pyramid, YouTube channel, the Pan-African Pyramid, YouTube, Twitter, we're on Facebook, Andrew Irumba Live, the Spy Uganda, and this show we run on NBS television on Saturday from 4 to 5. I say now, my name is Andrew Irumba Katsabe, your speaker.
Free your mind now. Be part of People's Pan-African Parliament, the Pan-African Pyramid Debate with your speaker, Andrew Irumba Katusabe.